Hope everyone had a good lunch and that you're full and not too tired. I'll try to be a little energetic and peppy and not have a whole lot of slides and see if we can keep energy level high. First, quickly about myself. I'm, first of all, a passionate angler, and I work as self-employed, pretty much working with anything that is fun and has to do with angling. I have a degree in communications and environmental biology, and love to be able to work with fishing. And apart from doing TV and writing and different stuff like that, I work as a consultant and spend a whole lot of time on this FishingZealand project, which is what I want to talk about today. I've already learned a lot from being here these days, and my goal is to try to teach you a little bit about what works in Denmark. We don't do everything perfect. We have lots of problems in Denmark too. But FishingZealand does a lot of things right, I think, and this is what I want to try to get across to you in these 15 minutes, and hopefully you can learn a little bit about it. First of all, what is FishingZealand? It's a unique organization that really was only launched this fall. So in the public eye, it's only existed since this fall, but it's been working on several years. It was the Danish Anglers Association that took the initiative to try to work together with the municipalities on the island of Zealand, which is the biggest island in Denmark, but still not very big, to work with tourism and work with promoting or environmental work to facilitate better fish populations, especially with focus on sea-run brown trout. There's an organization on the island of Fyn that you may have heard of called Sea Trout Fyn that has had great success and been around for 20 years with combining tourism and environmental work on rivers. Some of the things we already learned so far, we had Johan Atby saying in Silicon Valley, people are working together, and that's one of the things that is making things happen. When people who maybe are not used to working together suddenly are doing that. We've had Jan Kabel saying, use the word tourism. Tourism is the word to kick in the door and make things happen. We've had, let me see if I can get their name right, Samson Vilhunen from the WWF saying we need to keep the local communities involved. We can't just come up from above and say how we want things to be done. We need to have the local engagement to make things happen in these different places. So how do we do that, and what is it we want to do? This goes both for my own work, but also for this FishingZealand project. We want to give more power to anglers' interests, which can mean more fish, but more power to the anglers. We want to make a better environment, and we want to create new fishermen and create more fishermen. So we have a lot of ambitions. And the way this organization is put together is Denmark Sports Fishing Association that took the initiative to it. These municipalities, I think there's about 20 on the island of Zealand. They tried to agree on it and started off on their own, but they couldn't, and then two of them said, all right, we'll just do it, and then we'll do it so great that the others, they can join us once they see what we got going on. So two of them started, one more has already joined, 3 more are pretty much on their way, and within just that half year of being public, it's already growing quick. The tourism organizations within those respective municipalities are also part of this. So we work closely together with the tourism, and then we have the fishermen are represented by the local fishing clubs in these different regions. So we have sort of a board that works together that consists of people from the municipalities, from sports fishermen, from tourism agencies, and it's all very, very locally based. And what this does is that we promote tourism in these areas, so it is a marketing tourism project, but the only way to have a tourism product is if we have fish. So at the same time, we have this environmental angle that we do everything we can to create healthy fish stocks. And this is what gets the local involved, and the fishermen say, oh, okay, I want to be part of this project because this is my place where I fish, and I don't like the guy who's bringing German and Dutch and Finnish people here to fish. Why would I want to work together with them? But if they understand that the fact that these tourists are coming here to fish gives me more power, gives me more fish in my own water, so maybe I have to share this, but ultimately I end up catching more fish, then suddenly you can get the local people to work together, and then it all comes together. The third aspect is a social responsibility that we've added to this project, that we want to promote fishing to the youth. So within all these different events and projects that we work on, then we have a big focus on youth and creating more fishermen. And if I had the time, I'd like to talk more about some of the different things we try to do with street fishing and different media and things to get this going, but I think we'll save that. I have a little presentation video about the project that I want to show you. It's 4 minutes long, so it gives me 5 minutes after that to talk. And it basically says some of the same things that I've said, but as you're beginning to comprehend, there's a lot of things going on in this project, but it's in some ways very complex, but that's also the strength of it, that there's a lot of different people and a lot of different organizations that can see a value for them in this. One thing that's also very important is the local communities. We have different cooperations, bed and breakfast, boat rental, all these very little companies also are represented and get help from this project to promote themselves, because they don't necessarily have the understanding of what is it fishermen want. So we work together with them also to do this. But let's watch the movie. That'll present a little bit more about the project.
Zealand and the islands are a great place to fish. There are over 2,000 kilometers of beautiful natural coastline to explore, and the gorgeous shiny trout are without a doubt the most desirable fish to catch along these unique coastal stretches. Here you will also encounter spectacular fishing for pike and perch in brackish water. We have many beautiful lakes, canals, and rivers that provide a great variety of freshwater species. And the ocean provides a wealth of possibilities for everything from jigging for cod to trolling for salmon. But all of this doesn't just come from nowhere. In FishingZealand, we work towards improving the natural environment, the waters, and the possibilities for fishing on Zealand and the islands, for the benefit of us all. FishingZealand is an ambitious project based on the cooperation of many different partners. Several municipalities on Zealand and the islands work together with Danish Sports Fisher Association, volunteer sport fishermen, and local businesses and tourist organizations. The goal is to develop sustainable sport fishing tourism and improve conditions for fishing in the entire region. This benefits sports fishing tourism and the growth of local businesses, but also the environment and sport fishermen. There are over 500,000 sport fishermen here in Denmark, and tourists from all over the world travel here to enjoy our fantastic fishing. A report from the Ministry for Food, Agriculture and Fishing documents that sports fishing in Denmark generates over 2.9 billion Danish crowns a year. Sport fishermen from other countries spend over 3 million nights in Denmark every year. Hotels, summer houses, campgrounds, bed and breakfasts, inns, restaurants, tackle shops, and other local businesses all reap these benefits. So promoting sport fishing tourism makes sense and is good business, but it has to be sustainable sport fishing. Using nature goes hand in hand with protecting nature, and it's imperative that we protect our fish and our fishing waters. All the partners in FishingZealand are involved in various environmental projects on the municipal level and on volunteer basis. We're working toward things like the restoration of our rivers, the releasing of fish hatchlings, and and improving the conditions for the fish populations. All this contributes towards making good fishing even better and toward making fishing sustainable for many years to come. FishingZealand also has a social responsibility. We work toward creating new fishermen and promoting increased awareness of our natural environment by giving children, young people, and the socially challenged the possibility for rewarding experiences through sport fishing. We're continuously developing new activities, events, and ideas that add focus to our projects and our regions. FishingZealand is proud to play an active role in creating new adventures and activities for both experienced as well as new sport fishermen. Sustainable sport fishing is the way of the future, and FishingZealand is working to make this happen for the benefit of all of us.
This was a quick introduction to what this organization is, and I'm here all today and all tomorrow, and if any of you want to talk more about it, I'd be glad to explain more about the organization and the project and how we work. In the little time I have left, I want to take sort of two things that I think that we've had success with that maybe is something that some of you can use in your work. The website is in Danish, English, and German, and on the Danish one, we also have a blog where we have different debates about different subjects. And if I put one of the socioeconomic values that we've been talking about here, we've had all these numbers about 5 billion and 60% and all these huge numbers, and you're saying don't get hung up in numbers, but one way to boil these down, who knows how much 3 billion is or 4.3 billion, one way to really sort of make it easy for people to understand is making the value very, very simple and direct. And what we've done is, together with Christian Skoll, who's going to be giving a talk later, is taking these numbers for how much is the socioeconomic value of fishing in total, and then putting that on a specific species, on a specific kilo, by using how much of the fishery in Denmark is for pike, how many pike are caught, what is the average size of the pike, etc. We get an estimate. And yes, that's just an estimate, and you cannot get hung up in numbers. We got to a price of 1,208 kroner per kilo, which is 140 euros, something like that. And I don't really care whether it's maybe only 80 euros or whether it's 210 euros. The point is that 140 euros per kilo of a fish is a whole lot more than what a commercial fisherman gets when he sells a pike. So that's a very, very evident way of taking these numbers and saying, look how much this fish is worth. Taking a kilo price, which is how people are used to thinking about the value of fish, and comparing that. We've done the same thing for salmon and the same thing for trout, and we've gotten a lot of media attention for it. In general, we've had great success with sort of getting in the media with different things. This is Børsen, which is the main financial times of Denmark. We've gotten them to make articles and use these numbers, and in general just gotten in a lot of media by sort of putting an angle on these socioeconomic numbers. So that's one thing that I want you to take. And another thing is the term sustainable sports fishing. That goes through everything that we do in this organization, where we had a discussion earlier with Jake on the bus, where catch and release, which is very, very big in Canada and the US, and in many ways is a great term, sustainable sports fishing has room for a whole lot more, and the way I see it is the future and the term we should be using. One thing, sustainable sports fishing means putting a lot of fish back, thinking about where is it I'm fishing, what is the specific species, what is the specific water, should I take this fish home or should I not? It depends on whether you're having guests for dinner, whether you're a kid, etc., etc. It's not just all catch and release. What this does is it gives you all the benefits of the catch and release, but you don't lose that contact with nature and that original sort of sense of what is fishing. We fish to kill fish and to eat them. So you're not distancing yourself from that. And what that gives you is a greater understanding from the general public about why we fish, because usually it takes a little bit of time to understand the catch and release ethics. So if it's easier for people to understand that you're fishing to eat them, fine, tell them you're fishing to eat them. We'll have recipes, we'll do TV shows where we cook the fish, etc. Another thing that's sustainable sports fishing is it's not just about the fish you catch and putting that back. It's also about this whole volunteer work that all the fishermen do through their clubs and get involved in water restoration, etc. And it's also about teaching the youth and the kids to fish, and that way making fisheries for everyone several years into the future. You can read more about sustainable sports fishing and our definition of that here on the website, but I definitely recommend that you take that as a term and start using it more, because it tends to open a lot of doors that a lot of people like. And I think I'm out of breath and out of time.